Hi, I'm Brachabanian, and this is The Dose. There's a huge gap in education when it comes to a lot of topics in healthcare. I'm walking to Sephora. There's literally 40 different brands, whether it's for females or males. It's really overwhelming to know which one I should pick. A lot of it's all about branding, but if I'm not looking at branding and I'm saying, okay, I just want to follow your advice, I understand that I should use some shampoos that are more heavy and sometimes more light cleansing. But what should I look at in terms of ingredients or certain words of things that I want to buy for females and for males? What do I look out for?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. Firstly, I would turn the bottle around, and if I see a long ass paragraph of ingredients, I stay away from it.
Okay.
You do not need like 50 ingredients to make a shampoo. You need like 24 at max.
Okay.
And you can have a lot less than that and still have a really quality product. So when you start to see like all these random ingredients of non-natural ingredients and words that you cannot pronounce, I would steer clear from it.
Okay.
Secondly, you have to look at the description of the shampoo. Is it saying hydrating shampoo, moisturizing shampoo, volumizing shampoo, smoothing shampoo? All these words change the way that they're formulated.
Okay.
So let's say you have thin and fine hair and you want a shampoo. Ideally, you want to get instant gratification from your shampoo and conditioner, which are the only products that can do that. They can give you instant gratification with your texture, is you want to go for a thickening or volumizing product. These are going to add weight and substance to your hair. So they'll immediately make it feel fuller because they're adding things onto the cuticle, different types of ingredients that can expand from inside and make your hair fuller. So that's where you want to go. If you have thin and fine hair that's really dry and really damaged, but you want fuller, thicker looking hair, you have to decide what's more important to you. Do you want the thickening, volumizing shampoo, or do you want the hydrating, moisturizing shampoo? Because you will never have a hydrating and moisturizing shampoo that's going to give you fullness and thickness.
Okay.
They're two competing formulations.
Oh, okay.
So I always talk to my clients. I'm like, outside of the fact that we're trying to grow more hair and we want to bring back your hair, what is the biggest concern with your strands? And we have to identify it. Is it frizz? Because then we have to put you on a smoothing collection. And the smoothing collections are going to be heavier molecular weight, so they're going to weigh your hair down. Are you okay with your hair getting weighed down but being smoother? Or does it kill you how dry your hair is and that you just want your hair to feel softer and you don't care about anything else? Or are you really over how thin and flat it looks?
Okay.
So that's how you can kind of help yourself spot the right one.
So I'm thin and flat, so I'm looking for volume.
That's your number one concern, right?
Okay.
Exactly. Thickening, volumizing shampoos and conditioners.
And then give me tips, like I'm scrubbing my scalp. Like what exactly would you say? Like, is there a certain method that I need to know? Just like,
Yeah, that's such a good question.
Yeah.
The biggest areas that people miss when they're washing in the shower is the section above their ear.
oh, all
This
right.
always gets missed, and the very back of their head.
Okay.
So when I use the trichoscope on your scalp, I'm assessing all the different areas. The majority of people have so much buildup right here and right here. Because when you wash your hair, where do your hands go?
When I'm washing my hair, it's usually here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most people don't bring it into their hairline, so they have like buildup and psoriasis and all sorts of flaking here. And majority of people have some kind of flaking, psoriasis, seb dermatitis in the back of their neck here, because it gets completely neglected.
Okay.
So get it all, put a mirror in your shower if you have to, so you can watch yourself, like make sure you hit everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thanks. And one more question on this. I have a friend who has a shampoo company, particularly for men who have dry scalps, called Jupiter. And would you say that men suffer from dry scalp maybe more than females?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Mostly because a lot of men will get in the shower and just kind of rinse and not shampoo their hair.
Wow.
So they'll skip shampoo altogether. They're using the products that hit their scalp, and that buildup is there and they don't realize it. And thirdly, a lot of men use minoxidil, which can be really drying because it's alcohol-based, and so it'll dry out their scalp and make it flaky.
Okay.
So yeah,
Good to
very
know.
common.
One more question I have
Like
for
even
you.
my partner.
Yeah.
You exposed your brother, I'm gonna expose my partner. He's got like massive psoriasis patches in the back of his scalp here. And like his haircut's really short. So I'm always like,
Is that
"Babe,
just like really, that's coming from dryness?
it's just not cleansed properly. It's neglected.
Oh,
All you
it's
have to
from
do is just wash it better." Yeah, because when buildup builds over time, it's blocking the follicle. It's making the follicle angry. It creates inflammation. So it gets red and scaly, and the whole microbiome of the scalp gets thrown off.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just like, "Babe, you just have to get lower and just like scrub harder." And then he does that, and then like the next day it's gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So really scalp health is such a big, important part
Yeah.
of hair growth.
Scalp hygiene, scalp health.
Wow.
The way you wash your hair is where it all begins.
1 in every 4th person suffers from hair health. It's over a $3 billion industry. The market is extremely saturated, except when it comes to actually the education of us understanding how to improve our hair health, there's a huge, huge gap in education. Hair health is so important, especially a lot of females. It's almost a measure of confidence for us. And why is that? Why is there so little knowledge about what we could actually do, not to style our hair, but actually how to grow our hair and how to prevent hair loss? What is the huge gap in education and what's happening?
When I started behind the chair for so many years as a hairstylist, I started to recognize this commonality with scalp conditions and hair loss. It was happening to clients from a super young age, from the early 20s through 50s and 60s, and that everyone was kind of going through this crazy journey and cycle with their hair. And yet, as a sought-after hairstylist that you came and you trusted me with, I knew nothing about what was going on. I didn't have the education and the understanding of, why is your scalp acting out? Why does your scalp look like that? Why is your hair thinning all of a sudden? Or why is your hair so much more brittle today than it was a few years ago? And I think doing what I did for enough years without understanding any of that and who I am to the core, I realized that I can actually get to the root cause of what's happening with you. And that was trichology. And seeing women struggle, seeing the difficulties that they had to face and accept with their hair, because nothing was being done about it. No one knew what to do. Even derms didn't know what to do, even 10 years ago when I was still behind the chair. There's so much more guidance and knowledge today than we had then. So yeah, I think it was time, something was done about it, and that's why I got into trichology.
Basically, just because someone's doing your hair, getting a hairstylist doesn't necessarily mean that they actually understand how to take care of your hair outside of styling it.
Yeah.
Which is actually interesting. I never thought about that before. So your hairstylist doesn't actually know how to have or how to instruct you on good hair health.
Exactly. It's not part of your education as a cosmetologist to understand the scalp health, how hair grows, what factors affect the way your hair grows, and kind of connecting all the dots. And once I realized that hair isn't just about your confidence and about the physical appearance, but it's tied to your overall well-being and health. And I realized there's an entire study separate to hairstyling called trichology. I jumped ship so quickly. I dropped everything. I dropped my super high profile position at the number one salon in the world.
Wow.
Like the reason I moved to New York, I was on track to meet the goal that I thought I wanted to reach, which was be this amazing hairstylist and open up my own salon. I dropped all of that so quickly because I realized I can actually get to the bottom of everyone's issues and I can actually make sense of it and help women in a more impactful way than just making their hair look good.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't know that. So, okay. If I know nothing about hair, what's the breakdown, the next 3 minutes, tell me the breakdown of the most important hair 101 that I should know about, my hair, my mom's hair, my potential future husband's hair. What do I need to know about hair health?
Okay, so one, we need to know that the
101 of it.
The 101 of
it's different type of hairs and different type of hair losses. What are the basic fundamental things about how do I classify myself? I'm someone who has thin hair. I don't know.
Okay, so we have men's hair loss and we have women's hair loss.
Okay.
And the patterns in which women lose hair is very different to how men lose their hair. So men have a pattern that begins at the hairline where they start to lose hair, and also at the top of their head, the crown. That's very common. That's typically how it occurs.
So men have a more common receding hairline. That's
Correct.
something that everyone wants to talk about. Okay, we'll talk about it more later.
Correct.
Okay.
And then women's hair loss pattern is really different in that we start to notice our part line kind of look thinner up here. And instead of just losing hair, our hair starts to shrink and miniaturize over time. And so we start to notice a lot more baby hairs, especially at the front hairline. And the hair gets thinner and finer and shorter over time, and you start to notice more of the scalp. So they occur very differently, and they're happening for very different reasons.
Ah, okay.
So if you have, like, if your mother has really thick hair, that doesn't guarantee you anything. That goes for men and women. We used to just think that it was all genetics, but today we understand more than ever that everything you do, from your lifestyle to your diet, to your scalp hygiene, to your hormone levels, your thyroid levels, your illnesses, it all comes back to the way your hair is going to grow.
Okay. I actually thought it was really more genetic. So what is the percentage of how much of it is it genetic or that I could control? Because I notice a lot of people just have amazing hair, like yourself. I just have thin hair. And so I just always thought it was just part of my genes. How much is it part of my genes, or how much is it basically maybe I just don't have enough information of how to take care of my hair?
Okay, it's such a good question. At the end of the day, your genetics are going to set the foundation for what's going to happen, but we are noticing changes, even kind of disrupting our genetic pathways because of epigenetics. So we're noticing now that even if you were predisposed to thinning hair, if you incorporated a better diet, a better quality of life with exercise and good sleep and good hygiene and good scalp care, you can actually change that, and that you're not destined to have thin hair because your parents have thin hair.
Okay, but maybe I might not be destined, but what's the percentage of, if your mother has good, if both of your parents have good hair, then what is the percentage that you, or likelihood that you will? Like, for example, if, with obesity, like if both of your parents have obesity, then it's like a high percentage that you'll have, the family has obesity.
Right.
Or cardiac risk or something like that. Obviously, there's many different things that you could come into play, but I feel like even more with obesity, I think hair health is like, there are some people that just have a full head of hair. So it seems to me very, very genetic. What's the percentage of it is like that you could, like for example, like skin, like it's like if your mother has good skin or good genetics, then you'll likely have good skin. It could be that if you don't take care of it your whole life, then it'll catch up to you. But like, how much is it based off of genes?
I think it's a high probability. I think it's really difficult to measure. I'd say high probability if you don't have the strongest hair genes, then you're going to suffer from that also. But we're also seeing now that younger generations that have no hair loss in their genetics, that have parents with full heads of hair, can have really young onset of hair loss. And that's happening because of all these new factors that us younger generations are now experiencing. And that includes things like statistically, women are more stressed out than ever. The stress levels compared to men have always been higher for women, but now they're higher than they've ever been. And women are more medicated than ever. And, the younger populations also are struggling from mental health issues, are taking antidepressants and medications that people wouldn't have started so young, and those directly lead to hair loss. So I say, if it's in your genes, don't worry, we can work on it.
Okay, well, that's good to know, because I almost, in a certain way, like, accepted the fact that I don't have like great hair, and
I'll tell you what,
I'll just get extension. So you're saying I actually could I could nurse myself back.
You definitely can. I'll tell you what. So you looked at me and you're like, oh, but you have great hair. I've always had really good hair, but my hair today is thicker and healthier than it was a decade ago.
All right, so there's hope, people. What are the most common problems that you see, or, when you were a hairstylist and just in general over the past 8 years practicing this, what are the most common problems you see? And also between men and women?
Yeah. One of the most common issues that the majority of people have is an unhealthy scalp. So the average person just doesn't clean their scalp well enough. And so there's just chronic buildup and inflammation and flaking and itchiness, and they just kind of think that that's normal. So that's one massive issue, is that even from the days that I was behind the chair, people just didn't understand how they were supposed to wash their hair at home. So every time they came in and I would have a consultation before they get washed, they'd be like, yeah, I either washed yesterday, maybe I washed 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, but their scalp was telling a completely different story. And even after the fact, we work on it and they just weren't able to accurately wash their scalp.
And how does that translate? Like, if you don't have a healthy scalp, what do you see in the person's hair?
Yeah, so if your scalp is chronically blocked with buildup from product, from sebum, from environmental contaminants, it's just gonna cause inflammation and hinder the way that your hair grows. So you're actually gonna affect your hair quality because your scalp is kind of blocking the hair from growing and it has to fight a little bit harder.
Oh gosh, how do I know if I have a bad scalp?
That's why you would come in and see me, and I would use my advanced camera technology and I'd scope your scalp and be able to see it at a very magnified look.
So how would I know if my scalp isn't being washed enough or well enough? Like, is there a way that I could know about it, or I would have to come in to see someone like yourself to figure that information out?
Great question. If you washed your hair yesterday and today it's really oily already, you're most likely not washing it well. So if you're like, I'm always oily, no matter like the day I wash it, I end up being really oily, or you have chronic flaking, and when you scratch your head, you have like that buildup under your nails, and you're noticing flaking on your clothing, itching, burning, discomfort on your scalp, you most likely need to wash it a little bit better.
So scalp issues are the biggest issues that you've seen, essentially, with the men and women.
To start with, just right out the gate. And then I think the most common type of hair loss that you're seeing is stress-induced hair loss, or like calorie deficient types of diets, or
more on that later.
Physical stress, but that sudden hair loss, temporary and sudden hair loss, is the most common type of thing that we're seeing now.
Now we're gonna do myths, So, I wanted to do kind of like myth debunking, a lot of things that people have heard about their hair health, and I want to know if it's true or not true. And so I'll just go through a few of them and just let me know like if it's true or not, or like debunk it. So number one is, does cutting our hair make our hair grow faster?
So what cutting your hair does, it's such a good question, is that it will get rid of the split ends. And if you let a split end linger, it starts to split higher and higher and higher. So if you go 6 months without cutting your hair because you're like, I just want it to grow, and if I go in, my hairstylist is gonna cut it too much, you're actually running the risk of having to then cut off even more when you go in 6 months, because now so much more is dead.
So if you do cut your hair often, then you will have your hair grow faster?
It's not about it growing out of the scalp faster. You can't make hair actually speed up the growth rate. So any claims like that are probably the biggest myth that you'll see online. But you can make sure that when it does grow down, that you can keep what's there. And that it's not damaged and you'll have to cut it off.
I've also learned that if I wash my hair too often, it's not good for me. Like, it's not good for whether it's my hair health or my scalp health. So I started like not washing my hair every single day. Is that true?
How often you wash your hair is the most popular question I ever get. Because people are just confused. Because traditionally their hairdressers told them, no, you want your natural oils to run through your hair. It's good for you. That's just completely false. What you want to do is compare it to your skin. You wash your skin every single day. And depending on your skin type, you're going to use a different cleanser than I would use, right? I have, a ton of makeup on. I have acne prone skin. I have oily skin. So I go in with like the harshest cleanser, AM, PM, and I'm fine. If you do that on a daily basis, that's going to dry your skin out. And you're going to start peeling and flaking, and your skin's going to get really upset. It's kind of the same with your scalp. Washing often is really important. Every other day, I would say, is the sweet spot.
Okay.
Washing every day is perfectly fine too, but you then don't want to use something that's so harsh.
Okay.
So if you're using like a super sudsy, super good cleansing shampoo on a daily basis and you don't need that, then you're going to make your scalp a little angry.
Okay.
But if you go 7 days without washing your hair and that's your status quo, that's very alarming.
Okay. Okay. So it's a combination of how often you wash it, but also what products you're using.
Exactly.
Okay. Talk about products more later. Okay, so what do you have to say about hair growth shampoos? Is that something that actually really helps? Can you buy it? Like a hair growth shampoo? Do they work?
Another really big myth that social media is really selling and pushing hard is that you can stop hair loss with one miracle product.
Okay.
And making people think that they just need this one thing. And hair loss is so multifactorial. It's happening because of so many different reasons that for you to think that one single product is going to stop it all is wishful thinking. And a shampoo, because it's not left on the scalp, it's a product that's applied and rinsed out. The main ingredients are cleansers, right, and surfactants that are designed to clean. Before any other ingredient in there, it's only going to do so much. So I say waste less of your money on a hair loss or hair growth shampoo.
Okay.
And focus more on a shampoo that's going to clean well enough, but that's gentle, and that isn't just going to strip your strands.
Social media. We hear so much advice on social media. And obviously the thing about all of these brands, I don't know how regulated they are. Like, I don't know what sort of products could come out and what they could say. And I know it's definitely not as regulated as the medical industry. And how do I know as a regular consumer what hair products I should buy? What's like completely false? Like what kind of like, there's no hair shampoo that makes your hair grow faster. And so what are the different products out there? Or please know this, if you're shopping in Sephora, like these things don't work. And what are the things that I should look out for?
Yeah, it's such a good comparison that you made to the medical industry because a non-medicated product has no right to make any hair loss or hair growth claims. They legally, a shampoo cannot say, will make your hair grow or formulated for hair loss. They can't have that on their packaging. So what brands are doing, and I work with so many brands, like leading brands, brands that I think are doing really wonderful things. But what they're all trying to do is navigate those restrictions and use the right kind of language. And I've encountered brands that are still making false claims by kind of tricking the consumer. Because if you look really closely in the fine print, it's like, can make hair appear fuller.
Okay.
Can make hair grow longer. And they're so specific about the way that they're making any claims and what they're promising you. But the consumer just reads faster, longer, thicker, and they buy that product. So you just really have to be careful that when you're dealing with non-medicated products, they can't really promise so much in the hair growth
So it's just about
category.
cleansing. It's literally just about cleansing. So when I'm buying shampoo, I should just care about something that's going to clean my hair.
Exactly.
And potentially don't use the same shampoo every time I wash my hair. Some should be like more deep cleansing and one should be more light cleansing.
Yeah, everybody should have two shampoos, at least two shampoos. I have like 100 shampoos in my shower, but that's a different story. But everyone should have their daily shampoo that they use every time, like if you're washing your hair 3 days a week, you're going to use that 3 days a week.
Okay.
One of those days out of the week, you're going to use a deeper cleansing product that if you were to use daily, then you would strip your scalp and strip your hair.
Okay.
But the deeper cleansing products is just like your facial exfoliant.
Okay.
So the same way how you want to exfoliate your skin once a week to get the extra dead skin cells off, to get a deeper cleanse, you want to do the same thing with your scalp.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So will it say in the bottle like deep cleanser?
It could be clarifying shampoo, It could be a scalp scrub. It could be a scalp detox shampoo. There's so many different ways.
And is this for men and women? Same protocols?
Men especially want to use like detoxifying, clarifying shampoos because when they apply product, it goes directly onto their scalp. Like if they're putting styling pomades or styling products in their hair, it hits their scalp. Unlike women, it kind of stays on the ends of our hair. Men definitely need to scrub and exfoliate way more.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to use myself for example. Like I have super thin hair, and I want to do better on my hair health. What are the different things that I could do? And then we'll talk about my extensions. But what could I do? Let's say I said, I want to get rid of my extensions. I just want to have a full head of hair, like full volume hair. What could I do? I'm going to follow your advice on the shampoo cleansing. What else could I do outside of like the actual washing of my hair and making sure I'm doing deep scrubs on my scalp? What are the other things that I could do, the other different factors that you said that I could contribute to better hair health?
I used to do hair extensions like ages ago. I'd specialized in them, and I was specifically dealing with women that couldn't grow their hair to the certain length that they wanted or that couldn't get the fullness that they wanted. I saw this all the time. So getting your extensions done well and the right way is one thing, and we can get into that if you want. But I would say for you right now, there's so many things that you can do to your scalp at home that are going to help you grow your thickest, healthiest hair.
Okay.
First one being laser therapy. So known as triple LT, low-level laser therapy. This is real laser lights, which are in devices like a cap or a comb or a band. Okay. They come in different forms, but it's scientifically proven to work. And what it's doing is it's basically increasing like cellular activity in the follicle. Yeah, it's increasing ATP production, which is the energy that cells need to function.
Cool.
And it also just extends the hair's growth phase. So what happens with our hair over time is your hair when you were younger maybe used to grow longer effortlessly. And then for every single woman, especially with age, it gets harder and harder for our hair to get to that length that we used to have and for it to look healthy at that length. Oh. So what happens is we slowly start to cut our hair shorter and shorter with time, and your hairdresser convinces you that it's not looking as good, we need to cut it more. And this is kind of an experience that every woman gets to at some point. That's because the growth phase of your hair, so the active growing phase, which is anywhere from 3 to 6 years, the growing phase of the hair growth cycle starts to shorten over time. And that's just the natural process of aging. And then it stops to grow, which is the transition phase, lasts a couple weeks, and then it enters the shedding phase, which is 3 to 4 months long. So one of your hair strands maybe used to grow for 6 years, but now, fast forward 10 years, it can only grow for, let's say, 1 year. It reaches the 1 year mark, and then it stops to grow, and then it falls out.
Wow, interesting.
So not only is the lifespan shortening, but now you're not growing out the same quality of hair. So bleaching and thermal styling has an effect on your hair that it didn't used to before.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Makes sense, right?
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
So the ultimate hack that we're trying to do in the hair growth world is how can we extend that growth phase cycle? How can we bring it back to growing longer before it stops to grow? Because every time it stops, the chances are it's going to grow back shorter the next time. So we want to extend it. That's what every hair growth product is trying to do. So low-level light laser therapy, which is a painless, heatless type of laser, can do wonders for hair growth. Secondly, what I would do if I were you is 2 to 3 times a week. When you get out of the shower, you're going to towel dry your hair and you're going to do microneedling to your scalp. So you use a derma roller, the same type of tool that you would use on your face, the derma roller.
Yeah.
What that does is it creates these like micro injuries. It causes trauma to the scalp, basically. Nothing invasive, nothing painful, but it's kind of creating this trauma that releases growth factors. Because when you're triggering this trauma, growth factors at the scalp will come to the rescue and start to do repairing work.
Okay.
Same thing we do for our face, you can do for the scalp.
And why did you say I should towel dry it? I shouldn't ever like just let my hair dry naturally?
Yeah, towel dry meaning just like get the excess water out first. Make sure that it's not like soaking, dripping wet.
Okay.
And then go in.
Got it.
Yeah, air drying your hair is the best thing that you can do.
Okay, cool. Okay, so, all right, so 2 tips so far. One, those lights, what are they called again?
So you can just say like laser therapy.
Laser therapy. And can you buy this at home? Because I was one time at a conference and I still don't know if I got scammed. I bought this, it was called like Genesis, and it's like this light that I put on my head, and I supposedly like $10,000. I got a discount for $3,000, so I really hope that I didn't get scammed. And it's like I put it on my head, and it lights up, and they said I should use it a few times a week. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. If it was $10,000 value, then it's most likely real laser. And what a lot of products on the market are today, they're LED, which doesn't have the same kind of focused light. And kind of it's more like a dispersed light. And LED is perfectly fine. They're much cheaper. But if you're dealing with real hair thinning and loss, you got to go straight to the lasers. They're going to work so much better for you.
Okay. Yeah. And that's like, where do people go to for that?
Yeah, I mean, they're sold online. There's some really incredible brands out there.
The affordable brands that people could buy from like Amazon. Like what do they cost?
So there are combs that are real laser that'll be in the 400 range.
Okay.
And they work just as well as the cap, so the overall one that you would put on. It's just that the caps are going to cost you $1,500 to $3,000.
Okay.
Depending on the density of the lasers.
Okay.
They all work the same, but I would spend my money on a laser.
That's a good investment. Okay. Anything else that I need to know about scalp care?
Yeah, so now you are using a laser light. You are derma rolling, right? So you're releasing the growth factors.
Yeah.
You're increasing your blood circulation. Finally, what you want to do is topically, you want to apply something that's going to nourish the scalp, nourish the follicle, and stimulate hair growth.
What's that?
So that can be any kind of like a hair growth topical, and there's so many on the market. What we're seeing more recently is exosome-based hair care, which I'm super excited about.
Okay.
Exosomes through a topical is really new technology. But when you pair a topical with derma rolling, you actually increase the absorption of your product versus just putting it on without doing anything. So that's a massive hack.
So there are products that actually could make your hair grow faster or stronger.
Grow back.
Okay.
Grow back and you know, re-stimulate those dormant follicles. The ones
But
that
not
stop growing.
shampoos. Usually not.
No.
Okay. So
Very
that's
different.
good to know.
Yeah. A product that you can put on and that you can leave on is going to do much more than a shampoo that gets rinsed off after maybe 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really good tip.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
There's more.
Okay.
Finally, if I had to pick just one more thing, you're using a laser therapy, you're using a derma roller, you're using a topical, and then what's left is what you're doing internally.
Okay.
And that can be through your supplements and hair supplements that are
Okay.
going to give your follicles, your scalp, the nutrients that they need. They'll stop inflammation, which is basically the number one reason your hair is being challenged internally. They're going to stimulate growth, and they're going to give your body other kind of nutrients that it needs to just be able to function better.
Okay. What are the different supplements that someone should take for hair health?
I mean, I think consumers have so many options today. We have like the big names that are, you know, mass-produced products that could work.
Okay.
And they cost an arm and a leg. And I think it's very difficult for people to commit to $80, $90, $100 a month investment in supplements for their hair. One, it can be really costly. But two, don't do it if you're not going to commit to it.
Okay.
If you're going to spend X amount of dollars a month on your hair supplement, you have to take it daily.
Okay.
My clients who see the best results are the committed ones who follow everything to a T.
Okay.
And they thrive.
Okay.
And it's very difficult for people to do that and stay consistent. I get it, but I always like to help people like figure out ways to incorporate hacks to make them stick to things, you know, because it's a lot. It's a lot to expect.
I heard a a great idea when someone wants to like develop a new habit is you attach it to something you do every single day. So if you brush your teeth in the morning every day, which hopefully everyone does, then you do it like at that time or at night. So you just like attach it to something you always do. So I always take my supplements after I brush my teeth, like something like that, or before I go to bed. Okay, so what other things could I do? So we talk about supplements and hair scalp. Is there anything else that I could do to help with this, like dietary factors or environmental factors? What other things should I think about?
Diet is so huge. I think now that we had the huge fad of veganism, vegetarians, people that were basically cutting out animal protein and animal byproducts from their diets. And the crazy thing is that the majority of your hair is made of keratin protein.
Okay.
So it's made up of protein. And the only way that you're going to grow and that your body's going to develop the healthiest hair is by eating foods that have a full amino acid profile.
Okay.
So the full profile in protein. And you're gonna get that. It's guaranteed through animal protein, especially red meat.
So you can't get it from plant protein?
You can, but you'd have to eat so intentionally that you're getting the full range of individual vegetables and fruits and things and grains that would add up to that full amino acid profile. So unless you're a professional dietitian and nutritionist, that's impossible for somebody to do.
Okay. So let's just say I did everything you're saying. When do I start seeing results in terms of my hair improving? Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's crazy how much there is to hair health that like we all don't know, which is insane. So if I did this, I did the laser, I use that laser that I actually bought, and I do the derma rolling. Yeah. I had high protein. I use some sort of topicals. When am I going to start seeing results?
So the crazy thing is that you can actually see results within the first 4 weeks.
Oh, cool.
But it's very difficult to see with the naked eye.
Okay.
So if you come in and I use my trichoscope, which is magnifying your scalp up to 500 times, I can show you with the software, this is the density of your hair 4 weeks ago, and this is the new density and quality today.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard for someone at home to be able to see the results, which is why it's really difficult to stick to the program.
Yeah.
Because you have to believe, stick with it for 3 months, 6 months, and the hair would have grown out enough for you to then visibly see the changes. That's a long time to have someone to just stick to something and believe in it.
Yeah.
But it does work.
Wow. Okay. And now, how much is it going to help someone? So let's say I have thin hair, I did this 6 months later. Like, how much more growth am I going to have? Like, how thick is my hair going to get? Am I going to have your head of hair?
You never know. Here's what I say. If you stick to a real protocol that a professional has put together for you and that you're doing intentionally and correctly, worst case results are that your hair doesn't get any worse over time and that you maintain your hair.
Okay.
Because how happy would you be if in 10 years from now, your hair was exactly the same instead of inevitably being thinner and finer?
Well, to me, yeah, for sure. But to me, if it's not going to get better, then I'm just going to put in more extensions.
Right.
That's
and then
like
you're
how
going to
I'm
regret
thinking.
it in a decade, in 5 years even.
So that depends if
Yeah.
I'll regret it. It depends if I say, okay, if I listen to everything you're saying and then 2 years later I'm going to have an amazing hair, then I'm fine with the short-term pain of like not having extensions.
Yeah.
But if I'm never going to be able to get my hair to look like yours,
Yeah.
then I'm just going to do extensions for the rest of my life.
I know.
And that's like kind of what I want.
I get it. No, I totally get it. You can definitely grow in better quality hair. You can make it be stronger and shinier, and not become so damaged if you have to highlight it or bleach it or thermal style it all the time. So it's definitely worth it.
So let's
It's just
talk
hard to
about,
predict exactly what's going to happen.
Let's talk about things that damage your hair. So I'm curious to know about extensions. A lot of people use extensions. I use extensions. What are the best or worst type of extensions to use, or are they all bad?
What kind of extensions do you have?
I have the one that I've tried every single one. I've had the one that they sewn in my hair and it took like hours on end. And then I replace it every 3 months and like bring it back up.
Yeah.
And now I have the ones that it's like attached to each type of hair and they just kind of are like falling out slowly.
Yeah.
Where I think it's just like he used like something like something really hot to like attach it to each hair.
Right.
So that's what I have now.
Yeah.
And they just seem to like fall out with time. And I don't know which one's better or worse.
Yeah, it's really tricky. There are definitely extension methods that won't damage your hair and that you can wear them for a long time. But it comes down to application. It comes down to how are you styling your hair when they're in your hair? Do you get aggressive blowouts done weekly and that people have to pull on your hair? Is your texture really difficult to work with so your blowouts are that much more aggressive? Do you tie your hair up a lot? Do you exercise a lot? Do you do intense workouts and your hair's up and there's tension? If you put extensions in your hair and you air dry your hair most of the time and you barely touch it, and it isn't like an aggressively tight type of extension, like the weaves can be really aggressive on your hair. It's basically sewing a very thin thread into your hair and an extension. That's just going to break hair. There's no way around that. So that's not like a good long-term solution. But the individual strands that you have, I think, are one of the best methods. Definitely what I used to specialize in. And when they're done well and you take care of them really well, you really don't have to worry. But I would also give your hair a break every once in a while.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about men and men's hair health because what are the different things that they suffer with? I noticed what you said in the beginning about like my brother, hopefully he's fine that I'm saying this to everyone, is that like he's balding like right here in the middle.
Yeah.
And he's starting to have a receding hairline. And it seems like that's probably common for a lot of men. I was speaking to one of my friends, she said her boyfriend has a receding hairline and she like doesn't know what to do about it. And so why does this happen to some men versus others? And what could guys do about, their hair health? Because I'm sure it also affects like confidence.
Yeah, hugely. And it's such a good question. Like, why do some men experience the receding lines and the balding on top versus others? It basically comes down to their follicles have these things called androgen receptors. And androgens are your male sex hormones, basically. For men, the number one cause of hair loss is DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which is converted from testosterone. DHT basically binds to these androgen receptors at the hair's follicle, right? So the follicle's where the hair grows out of, and at their base, there's these receptors. So DHT binds to them, and that's what suffocates the follicle. It stops it from producing good hair, it shrinks it, and then it dies over time and ceases to grow hair. This comes down to genetics and the fact that your androgen receptor sensitivity is different for every man. So while every man can have androgen receptors and DHT and testosterone and all that, genetically some are just more sensitive to those androgens. So they just get affected a lot differently. The distribution can be really different. So they might have more concentration of these androgen receptors. And so you'll see like they're super bald on top and they have no other hair loss anywhere else. It just really comes down to that sensitivity at the end of the day. But you can get ahead of that.
Okay.
And if you start to see early signs of thinning in your hairline and the crown as a guy, you got to hit it with derma rolling. You got to hit it with a topical. Low-level light therapy, the laser light, is exceptionally good for men.
Oh, wow.
Works really, really well.
Oh, wow.
And men actually tend to see the results a lot more quickly. Like they notice it more quickly
Okay.
because their hair's so short.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, so they see it right away.
Okay, so same solutions apply for men and women, what they can do.
And then, so the other thing is that for men, there's two main medications on the market, right? Minoxidil and finasteride. Minoxidil is originally a blood pressure medication, which is a vasodilator, right? It's helping your capillaries, which are the way that your follicle kind of draws blood. It helps kind of expand those so that your follicle can pull more nutrients from your blood. So minoxidil helps kind of hack that system. And then you have finasteride, which is it's an androgen inhibitor. So it's going to kind of stop that DHT production from happening. It gets ahead of that. But then that has like a whole slew of its own side effects that people don't really like to talk about and the medical industry doesn't like to expose because maybe the percentages are really low, but they're real and they happen. There are natural alternatives to finasteride that I love to tell guys, get on these sooner rather than later. You know, be
Prevention.
more proactive and take a preventative method of saw palmetto, pumpkin seed oil, green tea, zinc. Like these are natural DHT inhibitors that you can start to take internally or you can apply topically and get ahead of what's naturally happening.
But does it work as well?
Everything comes down to compliance.
Okay.
If you're going to use it like once a week and be like, it didn't work, it's not going to do anything for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another question. Well, it's just a thought. So actually one of my friends who's created a dating app, it's called Are You Interested? Cliff Lerner, really smart guy. And he told me on the dating app that men who are bald actually get liked a lot more than you think and are perceived to be more confident and masculine, which is an interesting fact. I didn't know that. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts on that first. Do you think bald men have a certain like appeal to them? Now she's trying to picture like a bald guy that she knows.
We're not going to record this. I'm actually going out with a bald guy.
Wait, what? You are? Like dating or going out?
What? I am looking for a husband.
Wait, like
I have
dating?
I have to go on a date.
Okay.
Like I
first date?
went on a few dates with this guy who's bald.
So what did you
I shared
think
this
of?
study with him.
Are you does it
think-
turn you on?
Either way, like either way. I don't know if I necessarily view him as more confident and masculine. I'm not 100% sure. But I do view him as confident and masculine. I'm not sure if it's because that he's really tall or I'm not sure if it's because he's bald.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
I
I'm
think you
just
should
curious
test
to
the
know.
theory and have him wear like a little wig and then see what you think of him on the next date. And see if it's doing the same thing for you.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like, sure, I can think of bald men that have a certain kind of sex appeal to them, and there's this like machoism look to it. Think of Jason Statham. Like, I think he's crushed the bald look, and you know, he's known for being such a sexy guy. And
Yeah. Maybe it's like because they
don't
wear
know.
it, because they own it. Like maybe it's because guys who are bald, they kind of just completely go bald, and then they're like, I'm owning this, and
Yeah.
that gives them a little bit more of like a more
Yeah.
confidence, which is why they come off that way.
And I think that if you have to shave your head, then you're just gonna want to work out more and be a lot like stronger and more fit looking, because to compensate for that fact. So maybe that's a thing. Maybe they're more built, and so there's like that appeal to them.
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see.
I mean, we all know that would never work for me because I would just be like,
Well, could you actually can you fix that? If he wanted to get like grow a full head of hair, could he do it? No,
a
probably
lot
not.
of guys that shave their head actually have a lot of hair, but they just don't want to deal with how it's thinning on top. So
It's less
yeah,
work.
Yeah, you can bring a lot of it back. So long as it hasn't been bald for more than 10 years, you can start to reactivate those follicles and then bring them back to life.
Oh, cool. Interesting. Okay.
Oh.
Now we know.
Now
So-
you're going to be looking closely. You're like, are they there or are they gone? You can tell.
Okay, let's
Send me a pic.
Oh, maybe I should do that. I'll be like, here's a picture of the top of his head.
Just a quick
He'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, nothing.
research.
So, full disclosure, I have a GLP-1 company where Hello Dose, I help people lose weight through using GLP-1s like Ozempic, and we give them education. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on these medications. Feel free to like them or not like them. And what are you seeing with patients who are going on GLP-1s?
I definitely have nothing against GLP-1s. I think they're doing wonderful things for people and their overall health. The only problem is, and a lot of women do this knowing this fact, is that rapid weight loss and an extremely calorie deficient diet is going to cause sudden hair loss. Anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks after you start, you can start to see your hair shedding. And I have like some really great friends that are on it and they've lost a ton of hair. And they said, I knew this was gonna happen and I was happy to let the hair fall because I really wanted to lose the weight. And now they're coming to me like, okay, now I can't stand this. And now this is a real problem. I've lost like half my hair. But they continue to take the GLP-1s and maybe even too aggressively to the fact where they're not paying attention to their diet.
Yeah.
So I just can't stress how important it is to stay on top of your health. Hair is just part of the vanity. Your hair is there to make you look and feel good. But at the end of the day, especially for women, just not eating is messing up so much more than your hair, right? It's causing the hormonal imbalances and all these other issues and complications. Like, do it for your health. Eat your protein, eat the right kind of protein and take your supplements and take, supplements that are gonna help you with your basic needs, your daily needs. Not for your hair. Don't do it for your hair, but do it for your health.
Would you say that someone's hair and how their hair looks or how healthy their hair is almost a reflection of their metabolic health or how healthy they are?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Your hair is a marker of your health, and it's also connected to your youth. Good, healthy hair is a sign of youth. We naturally associate it with that.
Yeah.
When you start to see brittle hair with a lot of breakage, that's really dull, it's getting thinner, no matter what the face looks like, you automatically associate that with age and being unhealthy. That's just just a scientific thing. That's just something that's automatically how we perceive things.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, listen, there's studies that are ongoing right now that are trying to see if there is an actual cause of hair loss coming from the medications themselves. So we're not sure yet.
Yeah. So I did read a couple studies on this, and it's controversial. Is it the medication causing it? Which there is a small chance the medication can cause it in the beginning, let's say the first 8 weeks or so. However, most of the research is showing it's really due to the decrease in caloric intake and not eating enough food. So one of the things in hair health is, eating properly. So if you're not going to eat properly in a GLP-1, then you're going to have hair loss or hair thinning. However, it's possible if you use these medications correctly that someone could not experience anything of this. And the good news is that it's, I guess, possible to grow it back if you did go on a GLP-1 and lost weight too quickly or just didn't understand how to use the medication correctly, then you could still fix it.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, very true.
What are your thoughts on, actually, let me ask you that in a second. I know that okay. I want to talk about different stages in females' life, especially whether it's menopause or after they give birth. A lot of people's, or pregnancy, their hair changes. What are the different advice you have for, as a woman goes through different parts of her life, what she should look for? And does everyone have changes during pregnancy? And does everyone have changes, whether it's through nursing or just after giving birth or menopause? What are the things that a woman should look out for?
Hormonal changes to your hair are so common. Postpartum being obviously the most common one, where the majority of women will lose a lot of hair postpartum, and that happens 3 to 4 months after they give birth. And then anyone going through, perimenopause and menopause, what's happening is that it's your hormones are fluctuating. And the number one way that every single woman can help their hormone levels today is by making sure that they're supplementing with the most crucial minerals that your body's becoming really deficient in. So if you want to support your hormones and the development of your hormones and your body giving it the fuel that it needs in order to develop the hormones, it's going to require minerals like magnesium, sodium, potassium, calcium. Good fats, another huge one, where we entered this kind of fad of cutting out fats because it's just going to make you fat and gain weight. So now we're eating fat-free this and fat-free that and, nut milk this. And women just stopped eating fat. And you need good cholesterol, so you need good fat in order to, again, develop the right kind of hormones. So for women that are going through hormonal changes in different periods in their lives, with my clients, I get them on mineral supplements, and I make sure that their diets are really dissected, and making sure that you're eating healthy fats and that you're not afraid to have a whole avocado, and that you're not afraid to cook with a ton of ghee and eat a handful of nuts and eat some fatty fish and like be a little bit more conscious about that, because at the end of the day, any kind of restriction is not going to be good for you. And the restrictive diets are just ruining women's hair.
Okay. So it seems like as your hormones change, there's different nutritional needs that you're going to have. Okay.
Yeah, and we're also deficient in magnesium, first and foremost. It's just so hard to get that through our food supply now. So magnesium's like one of the leading causes of hair loss. Magnesium deficiency, vitamin D deficiency.
Okay.
Huge.
Wow.
So, you want to start supplementing correctly. But I do recommend everybody gets proper blood work done with an integrative specialist. So someone who is going to do a lot of different labs on you and that actually understand how to read these results.
Okay.
Not just looking for, are you within the range and you're fine, but looking for anything that could potentially be slightly out of range or too far to the left or a little too far to the right. And when all of these different markers are accumulated, that can be the reason you're having hair loss, even though you're technically within range.
Okay.
So speaking to a true professional that can assess your blood work, knowing what to look for, the markers like B vitamins, vitamin D, magnesium, iron, ferritin levels, these are all crucial for the way your hair grows.
Okay.
And they're often the most overlooked.
Okay. So vitamins and nutrients. On that note, full disclosure, I also own an IV company. And so we help people get IV nutrients and vitamins in their bloodstream at a faster and higher rate than regular supplements, although it's not something you can do every single day. What are your thoughts on that for hair health? Have you ever seen a client that started using IV therapy and it helped with their hair growth because they're absorbing it at a much faster rate versus taking supplements alone?
I love to put people on like a whole protocol because it is about your overall health. And if you expect to do something for a month and to have the hair that you want grow back, it's not going to work for you. And I think IV therapy is an amazing addition to the whole process and protocol. So doing that regularly, I think is incredible, a really easy way to get everything that you need. I completely recommend that.
Okay, cool. I have another question, which was more on the topic of like the myths, but a lot of people want to know about like dry styling and they're using products to protect the heat. Is that actually working?
Yes, thermal protectants,
Okay.
They work.
They work.
The problem with a lot of them is that it's very difficult to actually get it on every single strand of hair. So
Got it.
it's really difficult to distribute it. There's one brand in particular that came out with a spray for their thermal protectant that is a mist spray, which I love because it just gets everywhere and it hits every strand of hair. So when you do it right, thermal protectants really work. And they'll make your style last longer.
Okay, good. Good to know. What's the product name? Want to share?
It's OGX.
OGX.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bond Protein Repair Collection came out with a spray that like is a game changer for thermal protectants.
Okay. So I have a question. If I would say, okay, over the next year, I'm going to put between $200 to $300 a month towards my hair health going forward. What are the different things that I should do over the next 3 months? Like, what should I buy?
So
I don't want to waste my money. I don't want to buy products that are just, marketed well but aren't really working.
So there's two sides to the equation if you want to grow your best hair and have like the hair of your dreams. One of them is everything that you're doing at home, and the other side of it is what you're doing in studio with a professional. So there's only so much you can do at home, and home is the maintenance that you need. Just like when you get a facial done, your esthetician is going to send you home with the products to upkeep and maintain in between your visits. So I would derma roll and do laser and do supplementing and topicals and proper scalp hygiene at home. But then I would go in quarterly at the minimum to get hair growth treatments done. And that's where I specialize. And so you can get a treatment done that is going to be much more effective than any derma roller you can use at home, that can help growth factors and nutrients and peptides penetrate better than anything you could do at home. And then you would maintain everything at home just to make sure you're getting the maximum results.
What are those treatments that you do?
Yeah, so I use energy-based devices to deliver all the best ingredients down into the follicle, non-invasively, so I don't have to put a needle into your head. It doesn't have to be painful. There's no human error. You don't have to stick the needle in 1,000 times to make sure that you're getting everywhere. The energy-based devices will use acoustic sound waves and air pressure and different methods to push ingredients into the scalp, and they're such a hack.
Why is it that the education knowledge is so scattered when it comes to hair health? There's no, one thing I'm thinking it's probably because it's not covered by insurance, but why is there so little education on hair health compared to how many supplements we have out there, how many hair products we have out there? And why is it that I would think that it should be a part of every single hair salon, they should have someone like yourself in this salon. Why is that not happening? Because it seems like if a woman's going to get her hairstyle at least once or twice a week, wouldn't she want to put the effort towards understanding how to actually keep her hair healthy? Are hairstylists kind of against this? Does it take away business from them? Because why don't they merge?
Yeah, that is such an amazing question, Bracha, that you're asking, because you're recognizing the challenge that consumers are having today is exactly that, is why is it so hard for me to find the right solutions and find the right experts? Trichology is a completely separate study from cosmetology. It takes a lot of training and education to understand it fully, and it never stops. You have to constantly stay on top of the research and the data and continue to explore and experiment and work with different clients and just test things out. It's a nonstop process. I think there are a lot of factors at play that are helping hairstylists get more educated on being able to just guide their clients more and understand scalp health. Diagnosing hair loss and different types of hair loss is a completely separate process, and you can't expect a hairstylist to do that as well. You already have a full-time job and role, but education for hairstylists I think is so important, and so that they can identify at least more scalp issues and conditions and just be able to guide their clients more. I wish I knew more as a hairstylist when I was behind the chair, instead of just sweeping everything under the rug and thinking I don't know I don't understand why any of this is happening. It's not a good feeling. So there's definitely a lot of things at play right now that are helping hairdressers. But at the end of the day, it's really difficult to find someone that is very specialized in this.
But why? It should be part of almost family practices in a certain way.
It's starting to really pick up. What I'm doing is definitely a globally emerging trend of bringing trichology to people in a very advanced way. We're definitely going to see more of it.
Okay, I hope so, because it's funny. I think you are the first person I've ever met that has this sort of vast knowledge.
I typically am.
Hair health, and it's almost as there's a lot of information to do quick fixes, but there's not a lot of information to actually get to the deep-rooted issues of someone fixing their hair health. I have one last question. What is something that happened in your career that, or whether it's a story that seemed to be a really negative thing at that moment, but then turned out to be a blessing? Can you share a story?
Oh man, I think it's impossible to speak to any founder and not have a shared experience of a massive pivotal moment where they had to completely shift gears to survive, right, and stay on top. I love those stories so much because when I find out there's other founders that went through hell and back, it makes me feel so much better and makes me feel oh, it's not just me. I'm not the only one. I opened up my studio in New York City, and a couple months back, it was supposed to be at this other location. And I had everything riding on it, had all the lease agreements out, renderings worked on, everything prepared for a certain launch date. And the agreement fell through for some wild reasons. It fell through. And I couldn't help but think that it was the biggest redirection in my life. It was such an unusual way that it all just kind of fell apart for no reason, that it was like someone picked me up from one spot, removed me from this situation, and took me over, way over here, and dropped me and was like, don't touch that. That is not for you. And it couldn't have been like a more like obvious kind of message. And I thought it was wild. Anyways, it crushed me. It made me feel like someone broke up with me, like I was ghosted, like all the things. And it ruined me because, you know, we want what we want. We go after what we want and we work our butts off. And when there's this like force against you, it's so hard to accept. So ended up being a really good thing. And instead of opening up one place, there's two places now opening up. So.
Nice.
Yay.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Thank you so much. I feel committed to like my hair health right now. I'm going to start the things that you told me.
I'd love to hear that. If I don't like inspire and give people the guidance and the knowledge and the education to make them, like everybody in this room, if you guys didn't take anything away and weren't inspired to do one little different thing, then like I feel like I haven't done my job. But hopefully everyone starts to take it really seriously and starts to believe in how much you can do to actually help your hair thrive and have the confidence that you need and have the peace of mind that you need. I think it's really, I help people through some of the most vulnerable stages of their lives, which is like losing their hair. Yeah. And there's no better feeling than hope and seeing the results with your hair because it's tied to everything, how you feel, your confidence, your emotions, how you see yourself and how other people see you. So it's not just about the vanity, but like to give anybody that hope that they don't have to worry about their hair and that they can truly have the dream hair that'll make them happy. That is like my mission in life.
That's amazing.